Hello dear students, welcoming you all in the Physics Arena by Nitesh sir. Students, via this platform, via this video lecture, we all are going to discuss about the chapter motion in a plane. Students, lots of things we have discussed in the last lectures about that what are the physical quantities, how it can be subcategorized, what are the scalar and vector quantities, how we can define them, and general vectors and their notifications. And also we have discussed there are some classifications of the vector quantities such as the vector, polar vectors, and that is the axial vectors. And also we have discussed about the position vector and displacement vector. So students, already I have given you all the different types of the vectors are there. A lots of vectors we have given in the last lecture. So let's start with a very basic vector which is used in your each and every type of the numerical, that is a zero vector or null vector, and we will discuss what is its use in our numerical problem or in this chapter. So here I am going to write that is a zero vector or which is also known as null vector. So student, those who have not referred the last lectures, I would like to inform you all that vectors are those physical quantities. Vectors are those physical quantities which is having the magnitude as well as direction. Okay, means any physical quantity which is having the magnitude as well as the direction is said to be the vector quantity. Whereas if the two vectors, now I am going to describe about the null vector. What do you mean by the null vector or zero vector? If the two vectors are equal, means equal vectors are those vectors. Before going to state about these equal vectors, how we can define the equal vectors or null vector or zero vector? Vectors are equal, then their difference will be zero. Means if I am writing here, if the two vectors suppose vector A and vector B are equal, okay, then their difference, then what will happen? Then their difference means vector A minus of vector B is defined as zero vector or null vector. Students, what does it mean? Here I have written exactly same as your given in your book. So how you all can define the zero vector or a null vector? If the two vectors, let us suppose what I have given you as an elaboration, let us suppose that if I am having a vector A, okay, this is a vector A, its notification, and the another vector, that is vector B. If both are having the same magnitude, okay, if both the vectors are having the same magnitude, then their difference, if we subtract vector B from vector A, then what will happen? Both the vectors are having the same magnitude, so their difference will come as 0. Then such type of the vectors are said to be the null vector or zero vector. Okay, so students, in order to discuss about the properties of the zero vector, so I am going to give you the glance what are the different properties of the zero vector. So here I am writing properties of zero vectors. Students, now when I am writing properties of zero vectors, so what is the basic need of learning about the properties of any vector? Because if we are knowing the properties of anything, then only we will able to find out its application. So the first property of the null vector or zero vector is that whenever a zero vector or null vector is applied to a finite vector. So what do you mean by finite vector? A vector in which the direction and magnitude is defined. Any vector in which the magnitude and direction is defined is said to be the finite vector. Okay, so whenever a zero vector is added with a finite vector, then we will get as a answer as a finite vector. So here what I am writing, the sum of what, the sum of a finite vector to the zero vector or null vector is equal to the finite vector. It means that in result what we are getting the finite vector. Let us suppose that A is a finite vector. Let us suppose that A is a finite vector with which a zero vector is added. So what will come as a result? A finite vector A same itself will come in the result. So whenever a zero vector is added to a finite vector, then the finite vector will come as a result. Okay, students. So this is the additive property of the zero vector. This is the additive property. This is also known as additive property of the zero vector. Okay, students. Now move towards the next property of the zero vector. What is the next property of the zero vector? As we are knowing that whenever a zero quantity is multiplied by any finite quantity, then we get product as a zero. In the similar fashion, whenever the multiplication of the zero vectors to a finite vector takes place, then the result will come as a null vector. What I am writing here, what I am willing to inform you all, that the multiplication of a zero vector by a finite number, that is given by n, is equal to the zero vector. Okay, student. So what will happening here? Small n is a finite number and which is multiplied with a zero vector. So in result what we will get? Zero vector as a result we will get. So here the product is 0. So whenever a zero vector is multiplied with a finite number, then we are getting the zero vector as a result. Whereas whenever a finite vector, what I have said here, whenever a finite vector is multiplied with a zero vector, then we are getting the 0 as a vector. Okay, students. So let's start with the equality of the vector. When we can say that some vectors are equal. So now we are going to discuss about the new topic, that is the equality of the vector. Equality of the vectors. So students, in order to discuss about the equality of the vector, we can also, before going to state about these, we have to know about the equal vector. When we can say that the two vectors are equal in nature. When we can say that the two vectors are equal in nature. So equal vectors can be defined as if the two vectors are having, if the two vectors are having equal magnitude as well as equal direction called, such type of the vectors are termed as the what? Such type of the vectors are termed that are known as the equal vectors. Those vectors which are having the equal magnitude as well as the equal direction, then such type of the vectors are said to be that the equal vectors. Only not for this condition, not only for the two vectors, more than the two vectors if are having the same direction as well as same magnitude. Let us suppose that this vector A, the first vector A, is having the magnitude 5 km/h. Okay, and the next vector B which is having the same magnitude 5 kilometer per hour. This is the magnitude and direction is northeast. If I am writing here, the direction is northeast. Okay students, so what does it mean? It means that the two given vectors, vectors A and B, are having the same magnitude as well as the same direction. Then these two vectors are said to be the equal vectors. So equality of the vector says that if the two different vectors are more than two different vectors are having the equal magnitude as well as the equal direction, is said to be the equality of the vectors. So students, let's start with the new topic, that is the addition of vectors. Students, actually we will discuss by taking the two vectors in our hand, and then we will learn how to make them therefore addition. So students, let us suppose that if we are having a vector A, suppose here I am giving you with the help of, we are going to learn about the addition of the two vectors with the help of some examples. Suppose there are two vectors. Here I am writing there are two vectors. What I am writing here? There are two vectors. The first vector is vector A, and another one is the vector B. So let's draw the two vectors. Let us suppose that if someone says that, sir, if I am having a vector A in the forward direction, which is moving in a forward direction, so the first one is the vector A, and the next one is this is the vector B. Okay, this is in the forward direction, this is in the upward direction, slight slant in the upward direction. So how we can add these two vectors? If one vector A is given in the forward direction and another vector is slight slant from the horizontal, in the upward direction. So how we can give their resultant? Resultant means that after addition, whatever be the result come is known as resultant. So resultant can be given as, resultant will be also a vector, can be given as the sum of vector A plus vector B, because here the mathematical operation is addition. Okay student, so let's start the procedure how to find out their resultant. So in order to calculate the resultant of the two vectors, if the two vectors are given, so let's draw the first vector. This is the first vector, vector A, and from the head of this is the arrow, so this is the head and this is the tail. So from the head of the first vector, join the tail of the second vector like this. So this is the second vector, that is vector B. What I have said, this is from the head of the first vector, join the tail of the second vector. Okay, now join the tail of the first vector to the head of the second vector like this. Okay, so whatever be the result come is known as the resultant of these two vectors, and which will be equals to the vector sum of these two vectors, and which is also known as the analytical method of addition of the two vectors. Okay students, so this method is also known as analytical method of vector addition. In such manner we can calculate that in such manner we can calculate the resultant of the two vectors. In the similar manner we can also calculate that the sum of more than two vectors. Suppose here similarly, in the similar fashion, here I am going to give you the glance about the addition of more than two vectors. How you will calculate the addition of more than two vectors? Let us suppose a co-initial point, means all the vectors are start from a single point. So the first vector is given by vector A. Okay students, next vector is given by vector B. The third vector is given by like this. This is vector C, and this is given by vector D, and O is origin. So here what we are discussing? We are discussing the addition of more than two vectors. What we are discussing? Addition of more than two vectors. Here the number of vectors are more than 2 vectors. Here the number of vectors are more than 2. So what we will do, in order to give their resultant, here resultant will be what? Simply add all those vectors. Simply vector A plus vector B plus vector C and vector D will be the result. If we are knowing the magnitude of all these vectors, then we can give easily the resultant magnitude of the resultant vector. Okay students? Students, let's start with the new topic, that is the analytical method of the vector addition. What is the analytical method? How we can calculate that the sum of the two vectors? If the two vectors are given, then how we can calculate easily with the help of the analytical method of the vectors addition. So there are a lots of methods for the addition of the two vectors. So here first I will enlist what are those analytical methods, and then we will discuss one by one. So the first analytical method is the triangular law of vector addition. So the first one is triangular law of vector addition. Means with the help of triangular method we can also find out the addition of the two vectors easily. And the next one is the law of parallelogram. Means the next one is the law of parallelogram method. Means with the help of these two analytical methods we can easily calculate the resultant of the two given vectors. So let's start with the first topic, that is the triangular law of vector addition. So here the first point of discussion is triangular law of vector addition. So we will discuss this topic with the help of taking the two supposition of the two vectors. So we are going to discuss about the two vectors and we will find out easily their resultant. So let's start. The first vector is, so here I am going to draw. The first vector is given here as, the first vector is vector A. Suppose the first vector is vector A and the next vector is here, from here like this. Previously I have told you that the analytical method. So this is the vector B. So the third line will be what? The third line is like this. This is the resultant of the vector A and vector B, and which is already given by me, that is the analytical method. Let us suppose that this resultant is inclined at an angle alpha. Okay. So what is the angle between the first vector A and vector B? The vector B is inclined from the horizontal at an angle theta. Let us suppose that the angle is theta at which vector B is inclined from the horizontal. So let's draw a perpendicular to the horizontal. What I have drawn here, what I have did here. So I am writing one by one. Let us suppose two vectors. Let us suppose that the two vectors A and B, in which vector B is inclined at an angle theta from horizontal. Means there is the angle of inclination of the vector B is theta from the horizontal. So what you can realize from here? We can realize here the two triangles are made. So easily and now let's start to give the name. So this is O, this is P, this is E, this is Q. Okay students. So here OQ is your resultant. So what is that? If we will take here what is given, here the angle from figure. What we can write here? From figure. Similarly, from your book I am elaborating, because if you will learn two different things, then there will be possibility for there any confusion. So similarly I am giving you the elaboration. So from the figure, what is shown here? Here the angle QPE. Here angle QP and E. From figure, angle QPE is equals to theta. Okay, QP is equals to theta. So let's start with the triangle. So here there is a right angle triangle is drawn, that is OEQ. Right angle triangle is OEQ. This triangle, the large one, the largest angle, OEQ. So what I am going to do, from right angle triangle OEQ. From triangle OEQ, what we are getting here, OQ is the resultant vector. So OQ square is equals to, because here the perpendicular is given and here the base is given, what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the hypotenuse. So in order to calculation of the hypotenuse, with the help of Pythagorean theorem, how we can calculate OQ square is equals to OQ. This OQ square is equals to OE square plus EQ square. So what I am writing here, OQ square is equals to OE square plus QE square, means sum of the what, base, square of the base and square of the perpendicular. Here you can see that the base OE is also divided into two parts, OP and PE. So OE is equals to what, here from the figure it is given, OE is equals to what we can write, that OE is equals to OP plus PE. We can write here. So OP is equals to OE is equals to OP plus PE. Okay, of the square of this whole. Okay, and QE square is given from here. So let's start with the help of square method. Then what it will be, OP square plus PE square plus 2 OP PE plus QE square. Okay students, so one by one we will put the value. From here we can see that from here what we can see that the PE square plus QE square, PE square, because here one more triangle is there, QPE. So from here PE square plus EQ square is equals to PQ square. Okay, what we can write that, from triangle, what triangle, that is PQE. From triangle PQE, what we can conclude that the PQ square is equals to what, PQ's hypotenuse. PQ square is equals to what we can calculate, PE square plus PE square plus QE square. Okay students, so again in the similar manner, what we can write that this is, let us suppose that this is equation number 1. This is the equation number 1. Okay, what we can write from here. So students, from equation number 1, what we can conclude that therefore OQ square is equals to, here OP square we are knowing, here PE square is mentioned, and from here what we can, from equation number 2, what we can find out that PE square is equals to PQ square minus QE square. So we can write that instead of PE square we are putting that PQ square minus QE square plus this 2 OP PE plus QE square. So what we will get? We will get that here QE and QE will be cancel out. This QE will be cancelled out with this QE. So what we will get in our hand, that OP square plus PQ square plus 2 OP. What we are getting, OQ square is equals to OP square plus PQ square plus 2 OP into PE. We are getting, okay. And from the right angle triangle PEQ, what I am writing here, from right angle triangle, from right angle triangle, which triangle is PEQ. Here the triangle is PEQ. Okay. So from the right angle triangle, we are knowing that the cosine theta, cos theta is equals to how much? Cos theta is equals to what? If you are not knowing how to find out cos theta, there is a basic formula that in the last lectures we have discussed, that PBP, Pandit Badri Prasad har bole. Okay. So this is a basic formula for your memorization. So here first will be sine for sine, and for cos, that is the second. B upon H. B means base. Cos theta is equals to base upon hypotenuse. Okay students. So here base in triangle PEQ, PEQ, what is base? So base is PE and PQ is hypotenuse. So base upon hypotenuse is, base is PE and hypotenuse is, that is PQ. So put the value, get the result. Okay students. So from here what we can conclude? So here we can conclude that PE is equals to, this equation gives that PE is equals to PQ cos theta. P is equals to vector PQ, P is equals to PQ cos theta. Then the given equation, let us suppose that this is the equation number 3rd. This equation is equation number 3rd. So what it will be? Equation number 3rd, equation 3rd becomes, what equation 3rd becomes? OQ square is equals to OP square will be remain unchanged. OP square plus PQ square will be remain unchanged, plus PQ square plus 2 OP remain unchanged, 2 OP will be unchanged, and P is equals to PQ cos theta. Put the value, PQ cos theta. So here OP is given, everything is given. Here vector OP is here, what I am writing here, from figure what is clear, that OP, vector OP is equals to vector A, OP is equals to vector A, PQ is equals to vector B. Okay students, OP is equals to vector A, PQ is equals to vector B, and what? OQ is the resultant vector. So we are knowing everything. So let's put the value in this given equation, equation number 4. Okay, this is a very easiest method. Only you have to memorize the formula for the solution of the equation. Okay students, so let's start with the final resolution. So from equation 4, what we are getting, put the values. What OQ is equals to R. So vector R square is equals to OP square. Here OP is vector A, means vector A square. Then PQ is vector B. So B square, vector B square, plus 2 OP. 2 OP means vector A. Then PQ means that is vector B, and cos theta will be remain unchanged. So what we get? We get that the resultant of the two vector with the analytical method of the vector sum of two vectors with the help of triangular method, we are getting if we are knowing the first vector, if we are knowing the second vector, and if we are knowing that the angle of inclination of the two vector. Here I am writing here cos theta is angle of inclination of two vectors, then in this method we can easily calculate that. So what the formula is, comes out, vector r is equals to vector a plus vector b plus 2 vector ab cos theta will be the resultant of the two vectors with the help of the triangular method. Students, in lots of question it is given that, let us suppose that the two vectors, in the lots of book it is given that the vector p and vector q. In that condition we can write that vector r is equals to vector p plus vector p, vector r is equals to vector p plus vector q plus 2pq cos theta will be your resultant. So students, what we can also write that vector r square plus a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So from here it can be also written as vector r is equals to under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta will be the resultant of these two vectors with the help of the triangular method. If someone asks that, sir, what is the slope of the two vectors? So slope means that is the angle, that is tan theta. So formula for slope of two vectors with the help of triangular method can be given by tan theta is equals to, as we are knowing that the tan theta here, what I am writing, tan theta, as we are knowing that the two vectors are inclined at an angle alpha, so it will be tan alpha is equals to perpendicular, see here, that is perpendicular upon base. Tan theta is equals to perpendicular upon base. So I am writing perpendicular upon what? That is base. So here what is perpendicular, what is base? Okay student. So we will get that then the tan alpha is equals to what? B sin theta upon a plus b cos theta will be the what? It means that if we are willing to calculate tan alpha, then we have to know theta and we have to know that vector a and vector b. Easily we can calculate the slope and the vectors of the two resultant of the two vectors a and b with the help of triangular method.